just last week, healthcare tech company Capital RX announced the acquisition of Amino Health and its health navigation platform. Joining me now to break it all down is AJ Loiacono. He is the co-founder and CEO of Capital RX. Thank you for being here, my man. Congratulations.
Thank you for having me.
So let's talk about the acquisition of Amino Care. What should our viewers know about it who might be otherwise a little bit unfamiliar, and how do you feel like it really fits into your overall strategy right now?
Yeah, Amino really is a care navigation program. Think of it as you have a health benefit plan and it connects with your medical, your pharmacy, dozens of different third-party applications. And what a care navigation solution does is it helps you make sense of all of that information in a simple, easy-to-use interface. For us, we are a health benefit manager, so we process medical and prescription claims, and we manage benefit plans on behalf of health plans and employers. So by putting together the front end to the back end, it's the first seamless end-to-end solution.
I know you've described this as somewhat fixing the plumbing of the system. Talk to me, which I love that phrase, and I think that'll resonate with a lot of our viewers. What is so broken about the way that a lot of these claims are currently processed in the marketplace?
Yeah, the way you should think about is our U.S. healthcare system has been held back for lots of reasons. One of the biggest issues is the infrastructure. So we have software solutions that are 30, 35 years old. They haven't been maintained, they haven't been updated. So think of it as you and I could probably come up with dozens of brilliant ideas to improve healthcare, but what would happen is it would be very difficult to implement on our aging infrastructure. So what Capital RX has done is we've created Judy. Judy is our application. Judy is short for adjudication, which is just a fancy way of saying plan administration. And what Judy does is it's an enterprise platform, so it's really managing every work stream in what we call a single source of truth. And we could talk about that because that's really the biggest issue with the infrastructure.
Yeah, I'm curious what that looks like, and how do you feel like Judy Health is both meeting the needs for patients and employers alike?
Yeah, what I often say is the biggest problem with the US healthcare system is it's a patchwork of different vendors and solutions. And the moment a file or a claim record goes from system A to system B, it's already wrong. Because healthcare never stops. It's measured by the second, so claims are paid, claims are reversed, things are coded, recoded, people are eligible and ineligible, and it continues to go around and touch dozens of different vendors. And I used to think when I started in this industry years ago that perhaps there was this magnificent audit protocol that makes sure all the claims data is correct, and what you quickly recognize as a consumer in the US healthcare system is close enough is the rallying cry for most of healthcare, and the only time someone cares is, unfortunately, if someone's being sued or audited. And so by having a single source of truth, there's no longer any gaps in data and time.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a lot of the type of thing you don't pay attention to it until you have to pay attention to it, right? On the patient side. Judy is AI powered, is that correct?
Correct.
And what does that actually mean? Talk me through the tangibles of what that means as a user start to finish.
So when you say AI, there's lots of ways it can be applied. So the first way we look at is how do you reduce friction points and accelerate the patient experience? So if you think about it, lots of healthcare today is obviously manual intervention at different friction points. Hey, I need to call a call center, talk about my benefit, I need to order a new card. And so what you're able to do is augment your existing staff in these workflows. The two key areas for us are what we call customer care, customer service interactions, and also clinical workflows. Hey, can I access this medication? Is this a network? Help me get approval for this. So you're streamlining those friction points. The other way in which AI is very good is optimization and automation. So think of it as if you do want to make an action on the system, which is, hey, this new enrollment file has been created, what happens next? Who needs to use it? And in the past, that could be a sequencing of what I call structured code or even manual intervention. But with AI, you're able to really accelerate those workflows. And think of it as every time you accelerate a workflow, it's a better patient experience. You're not waiting for your care. You're not waiting to figure out, can I get this medication? Can I see this physician or nurse practitioner? The other thing you're talking about is what we call oversight. So for the first time, something's looking over your shoulder, and obviously in a secure setting, but making sure the patient has someone who's helping them make sense of all this information. Because unfortunately in the US healthcare system, you could be an expert and still be a beginner.
Wow. And so imagine actually being a beginner in the American healthcare system, how far back that sets you. So I appreciate that. As a co-founder in the healthcare benefit space, what is one lesson that you wish you had learned a little bit sooner in your founder's journey, specifically for the arena that your company specializes in?
Well, I'd like to say every lesson benefited me. I often say you need some setbacks to kind of keep you focused. So if there was one lesson I'd have to take away is healthcare certainly is much more inefficient than I ever thought possible. And so always go for what I would say the big picture of solving for what we call the end result. Begin with the end in mind. And that's always helped me throughout this kind of process of building massive infrastructure.
I got less than a minute, AJ. What would be your vision for what healthcare in the United States is like, even in just the next 3 to 5 years?
Well, I think the first point is transparency. It frustrates me to no end that still to this day, someone can go to a pharmacy and be confused or at worst taken advantage of. And it's what I call artificial price variability, which is why is there 30, 40, 50% variance on a drug that's as common as water at this point? And this frustrated me enough to start Capital RX and build out the GD platform with my partners. I think the other part of it is even thinking that journey all the way through, from medical to dental to vision. And so you have all of these different work streams, all these different work sets. And so what I believe the future of healthcare is going to be is full transparency. The price is a price is price, from that pen to that laptop. Everybody buys on price and there's clarity. And this is what I try and have people understand. And the last part is the care part, which is if you are truly aligned with the patient journey and the plan sponsor, then you're always going to get to the right decisions together. And I think that's the turning point of U.S. healthcare.
My special thanks to AJ Loiacono. He is the co-founder and CEO of Capital RX. Congratulations on the acquisition. Thanks for being here this morning.
Thank you so much.
Have a killer week, my man. Good to see you.